Welcome back. Today, I give you an intimate glimpse into the green giants of Vancouver Island. These are some of the largest moss-covered trees on planet Earth, ancient beings that have stood quietly for centuries, shaping the forests around them. This video takes us through a series of old-growth forests across Vancouver Island. These woodlands are incredibly rare and increasingly under threat as logging continues to push into some of the last remaining ecosystems on the island. Some of the trees you'll see here have stood as silent guardians of this land for over 1,000 years. While visiting places like this, it's extremely important to move with respect. These forests exist on the unceded traditional territories of Indigenous peoples, including the Pacheedaht and the Ditidaht Nations of the Port Renfrew region, the Huu-ay-aht in the surrounding coastal areas, and more. These places carry energy. You can feel it. Everything here is alive. Before you, the entire life cycle of the forest unfolds. Ancient fallen giants returning to the soil, giving birth to new saplings, moss, fungi, and life layered upon life. Beneath the surface, vast mycelial networks quietly connect the forest, exchanging nutrients and information beyond our perception. An ancient intelligence operating without hierarchy or ego. It's an intricate living system, one that promotes balance, growth, and harmony through cooperation rather than dominance. These places are beauty made physical, a reminder of what the natural world looks like when we are allowed to exist as it was always meant to be. In this first composition, we explore what is probably one of the most impressive trees on planet Earth. This tree features one of the largest known horizontally extending limbs in the world. It genuinely looks as if a tree is growing sideways through the air, suspended above the forest floor. Its massive arm stretches over the magical grove of ancient, prehistoric-looking waist-high ferns and dense foliage. The entire tree is blanketed in thick, living moss, so much so that it feels less like a tree and more like a living extension of the forest itself. It appears as though the forest floor rises up and continues outward through the trunk, reaching its way through the surrounding woodland. I explored a few different angles of this tree, but even so, it's incredibly difficult to convey its true scale. Some things in nature are simply too large to be fully understood in a single frame. These images were taken in late spring when the greens were fully alive and absolutely popping. Cloud cover moved in overhead, creating a natural softbox effect, diffusing the light and making this woodland scene far easier to photograph than on harsh, high-contrast days I've attempted in the past. So I hope you all enjoy this glimpse into one of the island's true green giants. This second composition brings us to another wild old-growth grove. At its base, this tree is massive, completely wrapped in thick, living moss, with multiple trunks curving outward in unique organic forms. Above it, it carries an expansive canopy. Over time, the surrounding forest has given it space to grow freely, allowing the tree to fully express its natural shape and scale. What I love most about this tree is the sheer amount of foliage emerging directly from the trunk. It feels as though the forest floor has suddenly turned vertical, climbing upwards and transforming into something alive in a completely new way. In this scene, I was also drawn to the subtle curves of the surrounding trees in the background, which echo and complement the shape of the main subject. The tree in the upper left corner becomes a subject of its own in a later image, continuing the visual conversation through the forest. And now for the selfies, but not those kind. When you're dealing with trees of this scale, it becomes incredibly difficult to communicate their true size through a photograph alone. The camera can flatten space, and these places deserve to feel vast. One of the most effective ways to convey scale in a woodland scene is by introducing a human element. It immediately gives the viewer a reference point, but more importantly, it invites them into the image. Instead of simply observing the photograph, you can begin to imagine yourself standing there, breathing the air, feeling the stillness, hearing the forest move around you. These self-portraits aren't about me, they're about perspective. a reminder of our place within the landscapes and just how small we really are in the presence of something so ancient and alive. I hope these images help communicate the immense scale of these forests and the quiet humility that comes with standing among these green giants. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed this journey through the green giants of Vancouver Island. Thank you as always for spending your time here and watching another video. If you'd like to support the protection of these ancient woodland ecosystems, you can visit my website, mikemcumberphotography.com, where I share more about conservation efforts on Vancouver Island and ways to get involved. If you'd like to support me directly, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing with someone who loves wild places as much as you do. Until next time, peace and love, baby.